Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 243rd episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So I may have already discussed one album earlier in this set out of the DITC or Diggin' in the Crates crew, that being OC's 1994 solo debut Word Life. But once I thought about it, I realized there was really no good reason to not do multiple DITC releases in one group, considering the only ones I've discussed before this set are Lord Finesse's The Awakening and Big L's Lifestyles of the Poor and Dangerous. I'm actually planning on knocking another DITC legend out of the way a little further in this group when I cover Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop by Diamond D and the Psychotic Neurotics. And that album actually came out the exact same date as this one, September 22nd, 1992. Runaway Slave may have been their debut LP, but while it arguably gets the most focus out of any of the projects in their discography, they have a number of other quality albums well worth your time, like 1995's Goodfellas, which I was actually supposed to have on vinyl for this review, but unfortunately my order got lost in the mail, so it seems like I'll have to find that one again. But I do have the LP that followed it, which was pretty much just as good. 1998's Full Scale, which you can find under the Show and AG name. Like the majority of their comrades from the Diggin' in the Crates collective, both Showbiz and A.G. came from the Bronx, which to my knowledge was the case for every member involved in this movement, outside of OC who hailed from Brooklyn, and of course Big L who famously represented Harlem. The ITC is definitely an interesting case when it comes to trying to pin down their status and role in hip-hop history, because while you'll often see the group as a whole approached with labels like underrated or somewhat overlooked, it's a bit harder to attach terms like that to select members, namely Big L and Fat Joe. I'd have to assume the main reason these guys didn't quite break through the hip-hop stratosphere as a group, at least not to the degree that groups like Wu-Tang Clan, A Tribe Called Quest, NWA, or Outkast did, is due to everyone involved being understandably focused on their own solo work, which left a bit of a dry spot when it came to the actual albums that they released as a collective altogether. This ultimately resulted in the DITC existing in the same stratosphere as other sizable and influential 90s crews, like Boot Camp Click or Hieroglyphics, where the most well-known and critically acclaimed releases usually came from individual rappers or acts within the larger collective, or in this case, a duo. Show and AG would actually be pressured into creating and establishing their own independent label a year prior to their first studio full-length here, when they formed Showbiz Records as a means to release their self-titled 1991 EP, also known as Soul Clap, which is actually where a good bulk of the songs on Runaway Slave were initially conceived. After the buzz they accrued from this early success, the two would go on to make even more of a name for themselves through Showbiz doing a couple high-profile remixes, like Tennessee by Arrested Development or The Ultimate by Artifacts. Like most MCs and producers in general, this duo progressed and improved on their formula over the years, but the reason I still wanted to discuss their first LP is because it just feels so ahead of its time for how early in the 90s it came out. I actually want to share a piece from one of my favorite verses on this thing, specifically AG's opening verse on the Silence of the Lambs remix, where he raps, "Now this goes for those who thought I fell, but it's more to tell, 'cause them suckers are sort of gel. 'Cause the giant finally got his props, we can box, rhyme for knots, and see who got the biggest Glocks. It don't matter, 'cause I can withstand. I got no hair on my chest, but take a guess who's the man. I never fall and I never fell. Bustin' and crushin', tall, and all of y'all will just take an L. You think you're able to win? Huh, you better chill. 'Cause you never will, you ain't and you never been. You can't faze me, so sit and praise me. When I'm finished slaying, y'all will be saying AG is crazy. That's how I like it. Yeah, they fear me. Their face is scary. They know I'm coming but can't hear me. I'm crushing all suckers that's coming up. The champ is me, see? It ain't no runner-ups. I'm catching wreck because I'm getting vexed. You can forget it if you think you're going to get it and rip it next. Yeah, whatever's clever, and like heat wave, I'm slaying suckers always and forever. Letting you know that I'm still the man and killing all the riffraff in the silence of the lambs. All of the production on here was done by Showbiz himself, except for the two tracks that were handled by Diamond D, who also shows up as one of the guest appearances on Runaway Slave, alongside Deshawn, Lord Finesse, Big L, and Drace from Black Sheep. When it comes to my top 3 overall favorite songs here, I would have to go with Represent, Silence of the Lambs, and Soul Clap. But then for my honorable mentions, I narrowed it down to Fat Pockets, Bounce to This, More Than One Way Out of the Ghetto, the title track, Hard to Kill, Hold Your Head, Still Diggin', 40 Acres and My Props, Catch and Wreck, and He Say She Say. Thank you for watching my 243rd video. Next up, we're doing a legendary New Jersey-based act. So look for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite tracks are off this Diggin' in the Crates classic. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.
Look, the key to my soul is locked in the cage it opens. The framework was made from my own rib cue. What came first, the crack or the crack lighter? Whichever one the first fiend used to bring back